Clean Getaway by Nick Stone. Chapter 3. Never Seen Before. By the time Scoob and Gmal have set up camp, aka parked the RV at their campsite in the hills of Alabama's Chehaw State Park and connected Gmal's fancy water filter and hose to the spigot at their campsite so they won't run through what's in the RV's freshwater tank, the drooping sun had turned the sky the colors of Scoob's favorite fruit, a sweet Georgia peach. In fact, Scoop snagged a few from the bowl on his kitchen table and stuffed them in his backpack while on the way out the door with Gmal this afternoon. Come to think of it, that bowl was empty when Scoop left for school this morning. He'd eaten the last two the night before as he sat through a show Dad was making him watch on National Geographic about the fiercely territorial nature of hippos, which means Dad refilled it at some point. For Scoob, because Dad doesn't like peaches. Always says they're the pits, and then he laughs at his corny dad joke. When had Dad done that? Ready for a little adventuring, Scooby-Doo? Whoops! Gmal giggles as she approaches the picnic table where Scoob's sitting, drawing pine needles all around the spot where he circled the park they're at on the map Gmal gave him. Well, at least that's what he was doing before he got all googly-eyed over the peachy sunset. Sorry, Gmal goes on. Forgot I'm supposed to drop the adoob, now that you're practically a grown man. She winks at him and pats the top of his head. Oh, come on, Gmal. How about you come on, she says. We've got a short hike, and I want to get to the peak of this mountain before the sun disappears. You carry this. She sets a wooden box on the picnic table in front of Scoob. The hinged lid is ornately carved, and it's about the size of his school math book. He freezes. Gmal's treasure box. He looks over the loops and swirls and leaves etched into the top. The box is a reddish brown, and he knows it's made of rosewood because Gmal told him years ago when he first noticed it sitting up on her mantel. It's the one thing that was always off limits in Gmal's house. Scoob's never even touched it before. Okay, that's a lie. As soon as he was tall enough, age 7-ish, he reached up and touched the lacquered side just because, well, he wasn't supposed to touch it. Looking at it now, though, Scoob gets smacked again by the fact that he'll never see it on the mantel again, never see the inside of Gmal's house again. Stick it down in your knapsack, she says, which she wants him to carry her treasure box in his backpack? Up a mountain? What if she's only taking it up there to toss it over the edge or something? Rid herself of it like she did her home. Scoop doesn't know if he can handle that. He gulps. We're, taking it on a hike? That we are, she says. Now scoot your boot. And she walks off without another word. So, okay. Watching the sun go down all the way from the highest point in Alabama is kinda neat. In fact, Scoob's looking forward to getting back down to the campsite so he can add a sunset in the margin of his road map. Well, ain't that something, Gmal says from beside Scoob. They're in the observation room at the top of an old tower, which the pamphlet says was built in 1934. Can you believe Bunker Tower had been standing for 9 years by the time I was born? Gmal says. It's magnificent. It's something, all right. Scoob gives a wary glance around the interior. He sure hopes it doesn't suddenly decide to crumble. I've been waiting 51 years to see this view, Scoob-Doob, Gmal says. That gets Scoob's attention. 51 years? Yep. Scoob shifts his gaze back out across the landscape. Why didn't you come before now? Wasn't ready. No idea what that means. Really not ready now, but the world ain't slowing its spin. Okay, Scoob says. Go ahead and open the box. The box. Scoob forgot he was even carrying it, though, come to think of it, his shoulders are hurting from the extra weight. He takes a deep breath, shrugs the bag down, and drops to a knee, unzips and pulls out the box, stares at it. "It won't bite ya," Gmaw says. "Well, at least I don't think it will." She smiles and pats the top of his head. Scoob runs a thumb over the brassy latch. What if what's inside isn't all that exciting? It'll ruin the whole thing. Scoob would never admit it to anyone, but there are books he's never finished because he liked imagining all the things that could happen. Knowing what does happen would take the fun out of it. Scoob's mom pops into his mind unbidden. Her name is Destiny, but, well, he's never met her. He knows she left when he was a baby because she wasn't ready to be a mom. Dad told him that part. But he doesn't know much else, because the one time he asked about her, Dad made it clear he didn't want to talk about it. So he just makes things up, though he'd never tell anyone. In his mind, she's been everything from an astronaut like Mae Jemison. Dad's an aeronautical engineer and has a picture of Mae in her spacesuit on the wall in his office, to a brown lady Indiana Jones going on treasure hunting adventures. She's an unsolved mystery, his personal treasure box. And now he's holding Gmaw's treasure box. He's imagined it contained everything from his granddad's ashes to the bones of some beloved pet to heaps of glittering jewels. He imagines the vines carved into the lid come to life like wooden snakes, lashing at him the moment he tries to lift it. "Well?" Gmaw says. Scoob closes his eyes, flicks the latch, and shoves the lid up. Peeks inside through one barely cracked eye. The contents are unexpected. Voila! My greatest treasure! There's an old radio tucked up against the left side, plus some matchbooks and a few postcards. There are guidebooks to places Scoob's never heard of before, and some newspaper clippings. A series of weathered road maps, not unlike the one Gmaw gave him, a small photo album, and a little green book called Traveler's Green Book for Vacation Without Aggravation, the cover says in bold white letters. The Green Book is from 1963, as in not even this century. Wow, this thing sure stirs up some memories, Gmaw says, grunting as she bends at the waist to remove the green book. It's about the same size as the postcards. Scoob watches her flip through it like she does a deck of cards before dealing Texas Hold'em. "What is it?" he asked. "Something that helped keep a lot of folk like your G-Pop, and me, for that matter, alive back in the day." Scoob zeroes in on the cover. It features an image of two women. He can't tell what race they are. Everything is tinted green. Surprise, surprise. Leaning over a small boat beneath a sky full of fluffy clouds. "Really?" "Mm-hmm." She sighs and taps the book against her palm. "Hate to tell you this, Scooby-Doo, but travel around this grand old USA wasn't always a safe thing for people who look like you. This was a mean place back when your G-Pop and I were young, and that book existed to let Negro travelers know which hotels and such would accept them as customers. There are even some other countries in there. Here." She hands Scoob the book. "You hold on to it. Might learn you something." Scoob flips the book to check out the back, then shoves it into his pocket without a word. "Now grab the Alabama map, if you will, please." He rifles through the rest of the stuff, looking for what she requested, and finds it beneath a napkin with the circular stain on it, probably from a cup of coffee. It's weathered and pamphlet style. Alabama printed vertically in bold letters on the front. "Open it up." There's a route highlighted, broken up by circled spots with handwritten notes scribbled over them, that cuts straight across from the Georgia-Alabama line to Alabama's midpoint in Birmingham, and then veers southwest to the state's opposite border. "Can you see what's circled just below and to the right of Anniston?" Scoob holds the map a little closer. "Chehaw State Park. The highest point in Alabama is scrawled above the spot of green." In awe, Scoob looks all around him, then at G-Ma, who nods. Just once. 51 years, she says. Then she begins to sob like Scoob's never seen before.
Someday